Hello, it's Evelyn Olivares here. Welcome to your sneak preview of the 7 secrets to communicate with sell and market with property and integrity. This is just a brief introduction to the upcoming webinar that we have. We have a few webinars coming across. I'll get to those for you later on. But just a quick intro to give you a flavour of what's coming your way. So what we have here is, in this very quick session, we're going to be going through 3 things. There's going to be a lot more in the main event for both the webinar and for the face-to-face session. However, what we're going to cover very briefly here is 6 empowering beliefs of a sales champion, 5-step sales process for a sales champion, and the 7 secrets of influencing and selling with integrity. So, go right ahead. If you want to sit back and relax, enjoy the next few minutes of taking care of you, taking care of your own learning. Take some notes if you like, either mentally in your mind's eye or on paper. Whatever you want to do is fine. If you want to win the CPD points for the upcoming training over the webinar, you can do so. Just let me know. Give me a call or send me an email, and I'll make it easy for you to just go ahead and do that. So this recording is for you a quick intro. The upcoming webinar is going to go toward your 12 CPD points. It'll be recorded, so you'll be able to look at it again and again as often as you like. Fast forward, rewind, freeze frame, all those things in order to get your CPD complete. So what we have there is right now is the 6 empowering beliefs of a sales champion. Now, all of this is just in brief, as I said. I'm going to unpack this for you at the event, on the webinar and the face-to-face learning. So, what does model mean? We've got model, respect, meaning, feedback, rapport, and flexibility. So modeling is, so this in particular case, the model is because every individual, every client, every team member you have, everybody has a unique model or map of the world. It's what they believe. It's what they hold value to, and it's not always the same as yours. It can't be exactly the same as yours because we're all individuals. There are going to be crossover, of course. People who have the same values as you and same beliefs as you tend to get closer to. And those who don't, then you tend to separate from. So if you are delivering a presentation in some way, and you are delivering it from your own perspective, your own beliefs and your own values, and not take into consideration that of your client, then things are going to go pear-shaped. Then the next one along here is respect. Respect your prospect, your client, your team member. Respect their map of the world. You can communicate from their map of the world and not your own. That's the way to do it. The person with the most flexibility wins. In a sales environment, the person with the most flexibility wins. Meaning, what does that mean? Because every meaning has a tendency to be interpreted from the own person's perspective. The meaning of your communication is the response that you get. So what does that mean? It means if you're not getting the response you expected to get from this other person you're speaking with right now, you're communicating with right now, that means that you haven't communicated to them in their language, according to their values, according to their beliefs. So remember, the person with the most flexibility wins. So be sure that the other person understands the meaning that you are intending to give, that you're imparting. How do you do that? Feedback. Ask the question. And what is feedback? If you get feedback that you don't like, it's okay. In NLP, I'll be going through a lot of NLP quotes for you here in this session, in the training. Excuse me. But in feedback from an NLP perspective, we say there is no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. And everything that happens is information. So if you don't like what you get, don't take it personally. Don't take it on your chest. Think about, okay, well, what does that mean? what could I have done better, and what can I learn from this experience? So it's only feedback. It's just feedback. There's no such thing as failure. We all need to have some degree of failure in order to truly succeed. So feedback is very valuable to us all. Rapport, because resistance in a client, if your client is resisting you, if they're still not buying what you're offering, that's typically a sign of you have a lack of rapport. And it's the most influential skill you can learn, is how to build rapport. Now, there are many ways we can do that. I'm going to go through that in great detail. And when we have face-to-face session, actually we do that in the room. We do some role playing around that, and it's an amazing experience. So rapport is, if your client is still resistant, then it's usually a sign of a lack of rapport, and we have to know how to remedy that. Flexibility. There are no resistant clients. There is only flexibility. And the salespeople with the most flexibility win. Being flexible puts you in the driver's seat. The person with the most flexibility absolutely wins. So that was a very quick overview of the 6 empowering beliefs. Again, this is unpacked in great detail as we go through the training. We're going to take a sneak peek at NLP. So what is NLP? NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. And the neuro is because our experiences, both conscious and unconscious, are derived through and from our senses and central nervous system. So the nervous system. It's we have dendrites and they're firing. The way I put it with my in-class students is like this. If you've ever been to the Museum for Technology here in Sydney, and there's this great globe, great glass globe, and when you put your hand over it, it starts to spark. Yeah, if you've ever been there, that's what it's like in our brain. So it's our senses and our central nervous system. That's the neuro, and we do things. I'll talk about strategies later on. We all use strategies. And if we use the same strategy over and over and over again, we're going to get the same results over and over and over again. So we need to look at how we can change and form new neural pathways. Linguistic is just because our mental processes is coded. So we've created codes. Our mind, it's like our brain is like a Google search. Okay, so you type into Google something, type in training or real estate CPD, for example, and you'll get a whole, you get pages and pages and pages of different people offering CPD training for real estate agents. It's the same for our mind. So the linguistics is, we have a mental process that our mind goes through, and it's really, everything's coded, it's organized, gives meaning to and transforms our language. So, and of course our strategy. So we look for, how can I get out of this, situation? It's like that fight and flight mode. And we do this Google search of our mind, and it comes up for us. Then we have the programming, because people interact as a system. It means our experience and our communication are composed of a sequence of patterns or programs, if you like. And we're going to talk about this in great depth in the face-to-face training coming up, because we're going to be using a lot of NLP language during these sessions. Conversational hypnosis is what we go through in our sales training. And this is where you get to a chance to practice your own knowledge, the knowledge learned, and enhanced communication skills. So with the neuro, very briefly again, the neuro is the mind and how the brain works. Look, I'm not sure about you, but if I give you a really easy example here. When I was much younger and I was having children, I'm sure that you can relate to this in some way. When I was younger and I had my first child, I remember thinking, I wish I could learn this faster, this parent thing. How do I do this? How do I do this mum thing? I wish I could do it better. And I knew it had something to do with my mind, but I really didn't understand at that point in time how to run my mind. What I do remember is when giving birth to Adrian, my son, I was wishing that I had a manual of how to do this. I was running back to the doctor saying, what about this? What about that? I had no clue what was going on. And so I wish I had a manual, the manual that told me how to run this mother thing. How can I understand this kid, this baby? A manual. I wanted a manual that could tell me how to tell my child how to get the best out of life. And so I really, really searched for this. How does my mind work? And when I came up and found NLP, it gave me all the answers. Not in a whole lot of technical jargon, but in a really easy step-by-step manner of how to use my mind more effectively. I hope that gives you some insight and breaks down into a more simplistic manner what the neuro means. The linguistic is just our language, how we use our language, is how we speak. And the programming that's our habits, guys. It's our habits of thought. And this leads to habits of behavior. Our habits of thought leads to our behavior. Okay, we actually act it out. So what are habits of thought? These we run automatically. There's a constant critic that stops us taking action. Is that what happens for you? Is there something that when you really want something in life, or to fulfill your dream, or you have some kind of goal you want to reach, something comes up and you say, oh, I just can't be bothered right now, or I'll do it tomorrow. So that's the programming, and it's designed to keep us safe. This is the unconscious mind, and the unconscious mind is there to try and keep us safe. You're going to learn more about this and how to restructure the way that you think, and the way that you can change behavior by creating new neural pathways. It's really easy, guys, and it's so exciting, so interesting. Because when changing habits, we can start fresh with new patterns and new behaviors, and we can create our own new reality. And that's what we all want, isn't it? To create our own new reality. So when you're dealing with your clients and your team, you want to discover what the problem is. What's the problem or the challenge that this person in front of you has? Now, if we look at that, what you want to find out is their past experiences. So if you're a real estate agent, one of the questions we always ask, hopefully, is, have you sold a property before? They've obviously purchased before. Have you sold a property before? If so, what was their experience? What was their experience whenever they purchased the property? Have they been tenants before? Landlords. What are their past experiences? This is their so their current state or their present state is what you want to find out. What are the challenges of the past? What's going to come up? Because are they going to pigeonhole you in the same category of a bad experience, a bad real estate experience earlier on? So we have to understand what their problem or challenge is, and what's the meaning behind that belief. And it's the same with ourselves whenever we want to move forward. What is it that's holding us back? We want to replace it with the why. This is our mental process, and it's recoded. It's really recoding, giving new meaning to the transformation through our language. And then we have evidence strategies. We're going to talk about this again later on in the face-to-face training. We reframe and gather evidence of more new and resourceful experiences. So we currently go through life, we're designed, we're human, right? We go through life, and whatever we believe in our mind, whatever we are programmed to believe about us, if we've been told all of our life that we're stupid, okay, we end up believing it. If we've been told all of our life that we are the light, we are the prize, we are the one, then we live our life believing that. So we are programmed from childhood to understand who we are. We create beliefs around that. We have values around that. So if you've been told from childhood that you're stupid, or you'll never come of anything in your life, we tend to carry that with us through life, and that can hold us back in us achieving our goals. So what we want to do here is the evidence we want to be searching for, instead of searching for "we are stupid," if what it was you've been told in your life, you want to reframe that to make it something more positive. You compose your own story, and a story that's going to be resourceful to you. You reprogram your mind. Yeah, that's what, and we're going to be looking for evidence strategies around success, around you actually doing that. So at the upcoming training, you're going to look at the 5 steps, the sales process of a sales champion. So when I'm not going to give you all this now, I'm going to give this to you later on, but just in brief, we wanted the 5 steps are establishing rapport. And as I said before, we have many, many tools and resources of how to do that in the most successful way. Asking questions, we all do, of course, but it's asking the right kind of questions. What questions do you need to ask? In the theory of communication, our words only equate to 4% of effective communication. 55% is body language, and the rest is our tone of voice. And I'll come back to that later on in the face-to-face and in the webinar session. So asking the right kind of questions. If our words only, effective communication is only 4% of our words, can you imagine? If we laser focus the right kind of questions, then we'll get the right answers. So I'll talk more about that later on. The questions are there to help us find a need. When we find a need, we're going to link the need of the client to the value of working with them. And then we actually ask for the business. We actually close a deal. Again, I'm going to unpack that in much more detail a bit later on. So during our training, you'll be pleased to know that you'll explore some really great principles and methods of how to sell with excellence. Sales mastery is something we can all reach at a whole other level. We can discover marketing formulas that are tried and proven, and you're going to discover in the upcoming training the 7 secrets to sales mastery and marketing persuasion. Marketing is so, so important. Marketing is around 60% of our success is based on marketing. And again, that's coming up for you as well in the session. So this training, primarily it's about sales, it's about marketing, it's about understanding self, it's about understanding the people's psychology. It's really based on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and as an NLP master coach, I will be doing a lot of NLP work with you, having you to understand how you can communicate at the highest possible level and win. So in this training, some people will be there, they'll already be skilled. Some people will have been there with me trained in the past and understand some of this. Some of you won't know anything about NLP, and that's okay too, because I'll bring you up to speed. But primarily the training is based on getting you into the Leadership Evolves face-to-face workshop. At the end of the session, I'm going to talk to you about next year's CPD training. This year's CPD training, it's still 4.4 hours for 12 CPD points. Epic changes coming for next year. Epic changes for real estate licensing. So I'll discuss more about Leadership Evolves then. But Leadership Evolves, there's a workshop I deliver over a 5-day period from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it is an epic event, absolutely epic event. This is something you're going to need coming into the new year, 2018, because you're going to have to, according to New South Wales Fair Trading, they want all real estate agents to get into higher education. They're expecting you to go into a diploma level rather than a Cert 4 level, just licensing. But more on that later on. That's coming up later. So during the webinar and or the live event, you can choose to earn the CPD points, 12 CPD points, to stay compliant with fair trading guidelines. You're welcome to join me at both the webinar and the private workshop, or I can come on site if I have enough people on site to come on your site for. But ultimately, it's you want to be walking the pathway of earning the Australian National Qualifications, and I can give you that. And that starts at Leadership Evolves, which will give you a qualification in Diploma of Leadership and Management, and it's recognised Australia. It's a qualification. It's Australia-wide, and of course, it's also recognised globally. Australian education is highly sought after in many different countries out there. So we're also going to be discussing business. Now, some of you I know don't have a business, and that's totally okay. But remember this: when you are working, especially in real estate, or even if you're in the coaching industry, if let's go say real estate for a moment. If you're in real estate, you're in effect working for yourself. You might have a boss. You might be an employee, and that's okay. But you know, especially if you're in real estate sales, you need to be thinking like this is your business, because you're working in a business on your business within a business. So that's the kind of mindset that you want to be working with in this business. In order to succeed, you need to do that. So I'll be talking in great detail about business, how you and furthering your career. But you know, in the workshop we have some experiential learning. You'll actually be doing some like role plays and coaching other people, learning how to coach other people, so you can coach your staff, so that you can streamline the goals and objectives of the agency. So that's coming up at the face-to-face event. But primarily, what is business? What's your definition of business? Now, this would be a breakout session. I would stop this recording right now if I were you. If you want to have a go at this, what does business mean for you? What does having a business mean for you? What's the definition of business for you? Why would you want to have a business? And what's important to you about being a business? What's important to you about being in real estate? What's important to you from the perspective of your own values and what you want to uphold? You know, the value you want to uphold in business for yourself. So, you know, so what is business? So some of you might say, well, okay, it's something I'm passionate about. You know, me personally, I'm very passionate about what I do. I love training. I just love being in front of a class and bringing people up to a whole other level that they never expected they could go to. That really gives me a real buzz. So I'm very passionate about what I do. For some of you, it's just to be service oriented, providing services in the real estate industry. But it's a vehicle. You know, it's a vehicle that you can use that delivers for you what you want. What do you want out of life? It gives you a return on investment, a good investment. So business has the greatest potential to make you the most amount of money. And that's why it's interesting that businesses don't make money. Think about that. So many small businesses don't make money, and yet it's such a powerful vehicle. We'll discuss that a bit later on. So the why. What might motivate someone to have a business? Well, you know what? I do it for the freedom. I do it for total freedom. I love to be flexible. I like to make money. I like to work with people I love to work with. I am very selective. I'm very lucky to be in that position. But I choose to work with the clients I choose to work with. So I have a lot of freedom. I've got a lot of choice, and that creates its own opportunities. Ultimately, it's to fulfill your dreams. Whatever your dreams are, we can discuss dreams in more detail later on. It's also leverage. What's important to you about having a business where you can leverage and you can multiply your efforts? So the business, it's what are your business values? What's important to you? Is it important to you that you love what you do? Is making a profit important to you? Go for it. Do it now. Pause this recording. Take full advantage of this part of the training, and bring it into whenever we meet, either on webinar or in the face-to-face. You'll be so glad you did. So in my experience, business is, I guess there's two main reasons for people to go into business. There's dreams and values. What's important to them in business, and what dreams are more, dreams in a business are more abstract concept, that it's like you know, the helicopter view. It's like this, the ground vision of what could be. And the second reason is for money. Okay, ultimately, it's money. People want to make money, which is a more concrete, back down to earth. Do our statistics, do our figures and forecast and budget and then do an analysis on that. It's much more concrete. So what's interesting in business is people are reluctant to talk about money. How many agents out there are cutting their commission? Oh my goodness. Again, we'll talk about that also, because that's a really, really important thing to talk about. People are cutting some agents are out there doing 1% and even less in some cases I have seen. Yet there is one reason to be in business, and that's to make money. If it is to make money, then it's really important that we can embrace that. We spend a lot of time at work, and so it should be really something that we actually enjoy. So the cycle of business, we're going to be talking about the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. And this is very interesting concept, because when you start to look at this from the perspective of the human mind and how the human mind works, your vision or your dream is where you see your business moving to sometime in the future, in the present and in the future. It's your desired state. So what are you passionate about? How do you want to affect others through your business? How do you want to contribute to other people? And the way that you ensure that your business fulfills your dreams and giving you plenty of cash is there's one key point, and one key point only. And that is finding what is called the Nexus Point. The Nexus Point. So the Nexus Point is curious question, right? I can hear you asking it. People just say, oh, what the hell is that? Well, we're going to discuss this in great detail at the face-to-face training, so stay really curious on that. Because if you're in business and your business does not bring you to the Nexus Point, then you won't make money. If your business is not making the amount of money you'd like it to make, there's a problem. And the problem is at the Nexus Point. And that's really all we need to focus on. And this is why the Real Estate Leadership Evolves was developed. So our business success, I mentioned before, we're going to be talking about the unconscious and the conscious mind. So there's part of it, your unconscious, that wants to hold you back. If we change this, if you can change this, if you can find ways to delve into this, what's it got to do with business? Well, you probably heard that Japanese proverb, the fish rots from the head. What you see in your business is a reflection of what you see inside you. It's about you. So I'm sure you can get that point and understand it quite clearly. This is really how it is. The reality is we have skills, we have goals and beliefs. Our skills are our ability and knowledge and strategies. That's at our conscious level. We all know what we're capable of at a conscious level. Then we look at our goals. There are actions and they give results or not. And this happens at the unconscious level. And finally, the beliefs, the values, the identity and emotions also happens at the unconscious level. Now, you might have heard in the past that, when we are learning or when we are, at an event, at a conference and listening to what's going on, we're only able to maintain about 10% of what we're actually hearing. And so the unconscious mind takes in 90%. Those stats have changed. Professor Schneider from Sydney University did some tests about probably 5 years ago or a little more, and he's now discovered that only 4% of our learning happens in our conscious mind, and 96% of what we learn, what we maintain, happens in our unconscious mind. So if you don't, if you haven't in the past wanted to get in, more learning and understanding of the unconscious versus the conscious mind, now is the time to do that, because you can see the power in this. The importance of being able to tap into this knowledge and the resources. Can you imagine? Imagine a world that makes sense because you know the code of human behavior. You know the code of your own human behavior and that of others. So your business is a reflection of yourself. Your career is a reflection of yourself. Your relationship is a reflection of yourself. So if there's something not right in the business or in your role, then there's something inside that's not running the way you want it to. And the business is just an outside extension of what is inside. So, a summary. A business is not just about making money, guys. That's an investment. A business is not just about helping people. That's a charity. A business is understanding your values. What's important to you? It's about loving what you do and making a profit while doing it. So this is what we do with NLP training. So earlier I gave you the definition of NLP. And here I'm going to give you a little more on that. NLP is a method of modeling success, of modeling excellence in our life, in our career, in our business, in our relationships. NLP is learning how to access the language of the mind so that you can consistently achieve your desired outcomes. And what's really key here are the words, accessing the language of the mind to consistently achieve your desired outcomes. How do you know what those desired outcomes are of your client? Because let's face it, people won't always tell you. There has to be a very deep level of trust and confidence, a deep rapport before people will trust you. So at Leadership Evolves, you will not only learn the knowledge of how to perform as a sales champion, but you'll learn how to elicit someone's buying strategies in the Excellence Assured Sales Strategy segment. And you'll be able to communicate that with absolute power and integrity. So we're almost done. Very quickly, the 7 steps of influencing and selling with integrity. This is sales mastery, guys. And there's rapport. We look at sensory acuity, matching and mirroring, and VAKAD. 2, find the present state. Ask the questions. Remember the words, 4% of our words, all right? Make sure that the questions you ask are laser sharp. Ask the questions. Elicit the strategies. I'm going to show you how to elicit someone's buying strategy. We all have strategies, and we buy things based on certain criteria, and I'm going to teach you how to elicit those strategies. Find the desired state. What's the purpose? What's their vision? What's important to them? What are their values in life? What's prevented them from achieving what they want so far? What if things were different? What if they did something different? What if they went with you and had you as their real estate specialist? How could you change that for them? Show how your service is the bridge to their solution. Ask for the sale. Handle objections. I'm going to give you some script on agreement frames. This is NLP script using command language and conversational hypnosis. I take you through that at the Leadership Evolves event in great detail. We do a lot of work on that on the floor, and you get to do a lot of role plays on that and coach other people. So you can see now that Leadership Evolves and Sales Mastery offers you so many exciting things to learn, opportunities to grow, and when lessons learned are applied immediately, this can significantly change your life, change your career, and the way you do business. And one last thing before I go. 2018, guys, are going to bring some epic changes to real estate. I mentioned it to you earlier on in the session. Life will never be the same. Let's look at the information that will be important for you. Information you need to have in order to make a decision, to make a change in your career, in your life, and then we're going to move on from there. So New South Wales Fair Trading have proposed changes. These changes include, if you are a certificate holder, you have to undergo training to become a fully licensed agent, and you have only 4 years to do that. If you are a current license holder, a Cert 4, you have a current license, you need to upgrade to a diploma. If you're a licensee in charge, you must upgrade to a diploma or have the same, undertake CPD training that's going to be equivalent at your current, your current professional status. CPD training, 4 hours and 12 points, will exist no more. This is the last year, so enjoy this year. From next year, you're going to have to do, if you're a license holder or a certificate holder, 6 hours of CPD. And if you're a licensee in charge, you're going to have to do 9 hours per year of CPD training. So more on that later on. Know that when you come to the webinar or the 5-day event, you can learn so much more. You can create such change in your life. I actually welcome the diploma higher education requirements. I know I'm a trainer and I would say that, but honestly, think about it. If you're in business, what other business do you know where the people of this world, of your area, hand you the keys to the most valuable asset of their life to a complete stranger? They hand you their keys. They hand you money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, in some case, millions of dollars. So it only makes sense, perfect sense, to know that the people that you are dealing with, the people on your team, understand at the highest possible level how to deal with customers, how to service a customer, how to offer a better service. And the people you're dealing with at a much higher level, because your level of qualifications, your level of understanding is at a high level as well. When you can learn to coach your own team, and their goals and values are aligned with yours, that's when you have true success. So give me a call, shoot me an email, visit the website. Anything you want to know, give me a call, let me know. The webinars coming up are now on the screen: 21st of June, 28th of June, 12th of July, 26th of July, and the 9th of August. All coming up for you to lead you into the Leadership Evolves 5-day event, which is preparing you for next year's CPD compliance. It's really what it's about. So thanks for hanging out with me today. Loved having you with me. Give me a call, as I said before, shoot me an email, and I look forward to sharing some the great principles and imparting some great tools on you that you can take into your business and implement immediately and achieve success. Thanks so much for being here. We'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.